Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now guys, there's been only one narrative in the Nigerian space for the last 5 years, and that narrative has been Malam Buhari, his tribesmen, and their plans for the rest of us. So this has always been the story that we have been talking about for the past 5 years. So the Boko Haram has now merged into Fulani herdsmen. They are all one and the same people, we all know that. So they are now coming into the hinterlands and taking over sway of Igbo land, Yoruba land, etc. And this of course rather is something that was predicted, but Nigerians of course never paid heed, because people like Tinubu, as you well know, thought that Buhari will be his own route to the presidency, but we'll see how that plays out for him in 2023. So guys, I bring you this Ruga and the Fulani agenda. This is written by Femi Fani-Kayode. So that's the title, Ruga and the Fulani agenda. So a piece by Femi Fani-Kayode. So now to the body of the piece. On the 6th of February 2014, the leader of IPOB and the Lion of the East, my friend and brother Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, said the following: as they campaigned vigorously for elections, you would think they were coming to grow the economy, enthrone justice, breed unity and tolerance and love for one another. No, they are coming to elevate Hausa Fulani supremacy, to reposition the security agencies by sacking all competent hands and replace them with their kinsmen to drive their ethnic domination of the Biafrans. The Fulani headsmen will be armed and encouraged to slaughter us with impunity, and their masters will protect them. They are coming to ensure that my people are enslaved forever. Those who do not believe me will soon see it happen before their own eyes. There is no gainsaying that he has been proved right. So this is now Femi now referencing back to what Nnamdi Kanu said. So there is no gainsaying that he has been proved right. On the 2nd of December 2014, he went further by saying, then a group deadlier than Boko Haram will emerge. They will seize our farmland, abuse our women, kill our people, and their masters will protect, defend, and even arm them, because their sole agenda is to enslave us forever. Those who cannot see it now will soon see it. The hatred in their soul for my people is legendary. They do not see us as humans. They kill, they slaughter, they burn, and they destroy. Mindless bloodletting is in their DNA. My people are in trouble. So 5 years later, every word that Nnamdi Kanu has uttered in this prophecy has come to pass. Love him or hate him, can anyone doubt the fact that God spoke through him, at least on these 2 occasions? What have we not seen in Nigeria? What have we not been through? What have we not suffered? What have we not been afflicted with? What have we not been subjected to? First, it was political Sharia, then Islamic Boko Haram, then terrorist Fulani herdsmen, and now Ruga cow settlements. Nigeria has become the biggest shithole on the African continent. We are like an open public toilet that has never been flushed. Everything about our country stinks. They say they want to establish Ruga settlements all over the country for the Fulanis and their cows. Is cattle business government business? Cows were made for men. Men were not made for cows. Cow love is unnatural and bestial. For a man to view a cow as a woman and feel aroused by it is sickness. And by the way, I am aware of what this guy is referencing, this Femi Fani-Kayode, because there's a clip that is going viral of something that happened in the bushes in Abuja that somebody filmed. So you just go look that up on whatever video search that you use, and you quickly see see what exactly this guy is referencing, because he's all over WhatsApp and everything. But there we are. So it carries on. They cannot push a nation to the brink of war simply because of their inexplicable and disgusting attraction to mowing cow and their inordinate ambition and insatiable desire to conquer others. They cannot use their cows and herdsmen from hell to cut us short and mow us down like the winter wheat and the summer grass. They have taken everything from us: our nation, our dignity, our identity, our future, our self-respect, our destiny, our lives, our liberty, our faith, hope, resources, substance, and so much more. And now they want to take away our land. Well, I have news for them. This will not happen without a fight. It can only happen over our dead bodies. They have removed the gloves and they are brazenly burying their fangs. Ours is a government of Fulani, by Fulanis, and for Fulani. Ours is not a nation, but a conquered, occupied, and subjugated vassal state, which was specifically and cleverly crafted and forged for the benefit and advantage of the Fulanis, their stooges, and their cows. This is self-evident. It is an incontrovertible and indisputable fact, and it raises a number of our fundamental questions about our supposed unity and so-called nationhood. We are constrained to ask, are we one nation? Were we ever one nation? Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the premier of the old western region of Nigeria and the erstwhile leader of the Yorubas, raised this question in his famous book titled Path to Nigerian Freedom as far back as 1947, and his answer was a resounding no. He made the point that there was so much difference between a Turk and a German as there was between a Fulani and an Igbo man. 72 years later, I have to say that I agree with him. It is one of the greatest ironies of our history that the same Awolowo that wrote that brilliant book and that displayed such remarkable, unprecedented, and prophetic insight about the nature and future of our union was a major player in the savage and cruel war that was waged and brutal genocide that was unleashed against the innocent civilian population of Biafra in the name of keeping Nigeria one. This contradiction in Awolowo's otherwise great and extraordinary legacy of excellence, principle, and patriotism is something that I have never been able to comprehend or understand. Nigeria is not one nation, and I do not believe that we ever were. We were just pretending and lying to one another, publicly professing love, but secretly hating. Whichever way you see it, the following deeply profound and philosophical questions must be answered. What does a compassionate, gentle, refined, beautiful, reticent, and kind-hearted bird like the flamingo have in common with an aggressive, repugnant, violent, greedy, loud, flesh-eating, ugly, winged beast and bestial creature like a crow? So this is the parallel that Femi is drawing now. You know, he's always superfluous with language. He never uses one when he can one word when he can use 50. So on and on it goes. I just see it just rambles on. Let me just take it to the end because I started it already. But I hate going through Femi Fani-Kayode's pieces because he just likes the sound of his own voice, and he's always preening and pontificating and bloviating like a popinjay. But on we go. What does a peacock have in common with a vulture? What does a kiwi have in common with an ostrich? What does a penguin have in common with a quail? What does a noble, courageous, and regal eagle have in common with a heartless chicken? Singing. Okay, it just goes on and on. So let me just see if he has anything else of substance to say, because like I said, this guy is just a loudmouth, really, if we are being honest. So let's just round it off. Those that continue to insist on one Nigeria must answer these questions and rid themselves of their sadistic disposition and masochistic fantasies and destructive delusions. The truth is that one Nigeria died a long time ago, but the Fulanization and Islamization gambit of General Muhammadu Buhari has finally buried her and put a nail in her coffin. So that is Femi Fani-Kayode's summary of the state of play, and what's excited of what's incited him to do all this long-winded piece where he just goes on and on, blowing grammar and just word salad, you know, his usual thing. You know, I don't want to call it nonsense because it's a heavy read, Femi Fani-Kayode, normally, because like I said, he won't use one paragraph when he can use 50, and even though everything he has to say has already been said in one paragraph, but he just likes to whittle on. He's a tireless tattler. But that's by the by. But what's now let's set him off to go on this expedition of this word this word mix, this word salad that is. And what is this Rugafin? This Rugafin is a Fulani ranching settlement within all of the states of Nigeria. So they are effectively going to use government funds or money from the Niger Delta to set up a Fulani settlement in every state for the Fulanis to carry on with their cow business. Now, excuse me, you know, well, excuse me, are they going to come to my own father's yard to come and dish out money to set up his own business? Are they coming to my yard to dish out money to set up my own business? The Fulani herders is a private enterprise. These are business people, and if they feel that there's profit in the business that they do, then they surely should then provide for the sustenance of that country. The last time we heard that the government was handing over 100 billion or so to these people, and that 100 billion is still not enough to satiate them. They are now going to be taking land from all over the states of Nigeria so that these people can now come and sit on top of you, and then we no longer have the Oni of Ife, but we have the Rankadede Sulumi one of Ife, and all this kind of, you know, then they come and just sweep you out of it. So the dangers portend. And this guy started off with the words of Nnamdi Kanu, which he was saying in 2014, that look guys, this is what is going to happen, and almost every single word, in fact every single word indeed that Nnamdi Kanu fella said has actually come to pass, and a lot worse than he was actually even predicting, because these people have completely dominated us from head to toe, and they will run their cattle through your farmland and behead you in the casual manner just because you looked at them with a bit of a look in your eye or whatever, you know. So this is now where we find ourselves. So now, which way now is the way out? Because Femi Fani-Kayode is threatening fire and brimstone, and that's just a bit of a nonsense. We all know how cowardly the Yorubas are, and even if they are not even cowardly, what strength are you against a fully built up army, and you with your bow and arrow? So you are just a sitting duck, really. So it's now how we are able to use our intellect to halt and thwart these people, because they are coming with intention, and those intentions are clear. And I think the demonstrations of the intentions have already been made clear within the Nigerian space, and even the blind is aware now that the game is afoot. So now how we play into this game is really going to be the defining of our being, because they will take your land and then they will dominate you. And this is what they do. They are people, they live by the sword. These are people of the sword. These are still primordial. So I don't want to call them Neanderthals, because that will be almost like an excessive use of language, but it is a Neanderthal like state of being. There's like a state of nature type of people, because they have no real sophistication, they have no real understanding of the grasp of the world around them. They've just lived a certain way for centuries, and that way just carries on. And because their leader is now the president of Nigeria, he facilitates for that. So then who facilitates for us is the question, because they are here, they are going to overrun and override us, and they are very brutal. Just go and ask the Nigerian army about Boko Haram. They will tell you, the Nigerian army will tell you that Boko Haram comes with extreme force, and it's their own that they are fighting is for Malam against Malam. So if they now come to the southern part where it's Yoruba and Igbos, and they have no affinity with you, they will just they'll just brutalize all the way through. So really, dangers portend and dangers are in the horizon, but then what is the way through? So conversations in the comment section is what I am inviting. What Femi said, words of Nnamdi Kanu echoing 5 years on, and the game is now afoot. So come join me in the comment section. Let me know what you're making of all this. But before you come join me in the comment section too, let me know what you are making of all this. Click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray, bell button, that way you're notified every time I drop a new video. Then come, let's have a chat about all this in the comment section. So I'll leave you here, meet you in the comment section, but here I say peace. Is that too much?
Was that not okay? 30 minutes?
No, that's a good 20 minutes. I was minute counting, but then I couldn't stop. Yeah.
I mean, it's so nice. And then you just...
It's just so nice.
Bobby?
So nice.
Oh, the man is.
You call me a snob. I want